Okay, we've got this beautiful little triplet. It's got a really thin layer of Spencer opal in the middle. Let's see. I don't know if we'll get the flash to show just yet, but there's a red broad flash in this thing. This one I glued to a purple background as an experiment to see. So this is all new. This was just a trial to see if this works. So let's go ahead and cut this opal. Refine the shape a little bit more. Okay, let's move to the next wheel. There's where I used to stop. Now we're gonna go ahead. You can see a little bit of that broad flash in there. It's not near as potent. I'm leaning towards the opinion that black would have showed a lot better, but there's a little bit there. Anyway, I learned I was not polishing my quartz caps nearly well enough. I learned that from Leo at the Spencer Opal Mine. So instead of stopping at 3,000 and running them on a cerium oxide pad, we now take them to 50,000 grits. So we're going to go ahead and change out these wheels. There's an 8,000 grit wheel. That'll go our first wheel. And here's a 14,000 grit wheel. It's our second. And here's our 50,000 grit wheel. That'll be our third wheel. Working on setting up another machine here so that maybe this will be a little bit of a quicker process from roughing it to polishing it, but we'll see how that goes. I'm rebuilding one that I picked up from a friend of mine. It'll be 2 wheels. I barely got the shaft and all the bearings and bushings and stuff pulled apart the other day, so it's something that's in the works. As long as that works out, then we'll go ahead and put that in our rotation, making these a little more efficient. The 2 things that I learned is that I was taking my triplet material too fine before I glued it back, and then I was not polishing my capstone fine enough. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and finish polishing this. Okay. Now if we get the angle right and lighting just right, you should be able to see a little bit of that broad flash in there. Okay, that's to 50,000 grits, and you can see it does show that color a whole lot easier. Still, see if we can get this light in a little better position. There we go. Now you can start to see that broad flash as I roll it around. It's really a pretty stone. Nice purple, but like I said, that color would jump out a whole lot better with a solid black background. I don't think there's any arguments about that. Let's see if we can find a better focal point. Here we go. Anyway, pretty light, pretty opal. Pretty unassuming until it catches that light, and then that color screams off of there once you hit it in the right spot. Anyway, last thing I'm going to do, this back is way too thick. I'm going to take this to the trim saw, I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to flatten it out. I'll probably leave that back about a 1/16 of an inch thick, and then we'll see if we can take some good pictures of it. So this is our finished little stone, and when you roll that little flash rolls across it. And like I said, I trimmed down that back so it's 1/16 or less. And then, yeah, that's ready to be set in a nice piece of jewelry. Nice subtle flash across it. I really like that one.